Right, Jessica, thank you very much for coming today to talk about organizational skills. How are you today?
Fine, fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, Jessica, and thank you for coming. So when you're ready, go ahead, please.
Yes, in today's
Mhm.
presentation, I will talk about organizational skills. I will be talking about work scope, workplace when I worked at Nestle Purina Pet Care Company.
Okay.
I will be mentioning some topics. For example, first, when I worked in the laboratory at Nestle Purina Healthcare Company. Second, when I had to check top notch information in the area of production in this important company. Then, when my boss motivated the team. And finally, importance to work in a good workplace place importance when I like to work
Mhm.
in a work scope.
Okay.
But I want to ask a question, teacher.
Mhm.
Teacher, do you think that you have a good workplace?
Well, yes, I think I try to make my workplace now. I try to make my workplace very comfortable. Yeah. Mhm.
Interesting. Do you think that you are developing yourself in a good work scope?
Well, yes, definitely. Yes, because I feel like I have all the implements which are necessary, like internet, computer, the motivation, even health. Because
Yeah.
if I am sick, I cannot be here. But the most important thing is to have the focus on the things I need to do. Yeah, but I think
Yes.
yes. Mhm.
Yes, it is true.
Mhm.
All right, teacher. Well, amazing. But let me continue with my presentation.
Great.
For example, first, when I worked in the laboratory at Nestle Purina Pet Care Company, I remember I shared a good work scope, work thing. We always were working with motivation.
Mhm.
Also, I consider I had a good salary. I think it is very important.
Mhm.
I we always were doing course about quality control, about things potential, service knowledge.
Mm.
Also, all concerning about developing people. Yes. At the same way, I had begun with good food in my professional life, as a food engineer, because I was achieving a lot of things. For example, I remember I was a proactive professional. I was very happy with my professional life. Yes. Also, I occasionally had to do had to do had to go at the area of production. Yes. For example, I was delegated for to make some annotations about metric reporting in quality process in this important company. Yes. Second, when I had to check top-notch information in the area of production. For example, excuse me, teacher. Let me think. Then, excuse me. When my boss motivated the team, yes, I remember. I remember my boss. My boss wasn't a good motivator. Yes, because he always was as a lackadaisical. Yes.
Like a what?
He was as a lackadaisical.
He was like a psycho? Un loco?
Yes.
Oh, like a
No.
psycho.
How do you say despistado in English?
Ah, he was always, I don't know, thoughtful or lost.
Ah,
He was always lost.
lost.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Mm,
I have had the opportunity to help my team
mhm,
in this area, about motivation.
yeah.
Also, I like this. I like to do this because I think I have a lot of potential in this area. Yes, I have no doubt. I had a good coworker in Nestlé Pet Care Company.
All
Also,
right.
I remember in Venezuela, uh, 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 let me think. Let me
Mhm.
think. It was a good time in Venezuela. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, teacher. And
Mhm.
finally, importance to work in a good workplace. Yes. And importance when I like to work in a good work school. Yes, it's important. It's important when I am working in a good workplace because I can be competitive. I can generate new ideas about
Mhm.
innovator. How do you say?
Innovation.
Innovation. Yes, innovation.
Mhm.
Also, the company can the company
Mhm.
um,
Can
can
offer, can help, can have, very good.
can have a good profit.
Mm.
Yes. As a conclusion, I like to have a good workplace and good work scope. I think this is very important for me as a professional because I like to work in a good work place because I can do the best of myself. The best,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, right.
Also I can do with quality my job. I
Mhm.
can do quality with quality my job. I can be more happy too. This is very important. This is very important for the production in this company. Yes.
Excellent. Very good, Jessica. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Perfect.
Finish.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you some questions. So you mentioned that you worked in a laboratory.
Yes.
You were working in laboratory in Venezuela. Talk to me about your leadership or your leadership style when you were at the laboratory. How was Jessica in the laboratory?
I was a dynamic professional.
Mm,
I was a dynamic professional.
mhm,
Always, I was very organized
mhm,
in my area.
mhm.
I'm very, how do you say exigent in English?
Yeah, very demanding. Demanding.
Very demanding
Yeah, which is
because
necessary.
yes, because when I am very organized, I can do the best in the job.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, very good. Then you mentioned that you had a boss That was a little bit lost. Okay, so let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so maybe that is a weakness, right? But let's talk about your boss's strengths. What strengths do you remember from your boss in his or her personality, for example?
For example, strength is fortalezas.
Yes,
Yes.
very
All
good.
right. All
Mhm.
right. Thank you, teacher.
Mhm.
For example, my boss was my boss was let me think, teacher.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
all right, teacher. For example, I remember my boss was a good man. A good
Mhm.
man. Also, as a professional, wasn't a leader, a leadership.
Oh, he was not a leader.
A leader. See,
No.
because we always had to help you,
Help
uh,
him. Help him.
help him.
Oh,
Yes.
but were you honest? Did you say something to him or not? Or you didn't say anything? You were, that's not my problem. What do you do?
No, I uh,
Preferred?
preferred to be in silence.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
because yeah.
because it isn't easy. It isn't easy
But
for
it was, how many years ago was that? How many years ago?
wow. It was
Uh-huh.
it was more than
Mhm, mhm.
10 years ago.
Now that Jessica 10 years ago and this Jessica 2023, do you think that, imagine that today you work with that boss? Is your reaction the same? Are you going to be quiet or are you going to suggest, recommend something or not? You're going to be the same because you need the churupitos.
I think that in
Mhm,
today I will help him.
mhm,
I will
okay.
help him with more conscience,
Consciousness.
with more
With advice.
personal intelligence, with more in
um,
personal intelligence,
Intelligence. Uh-huh.
intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Today, I let me
Uh-huh.
think, teacher. Let me
Uh-huh.
think.
Uh-huh.
For example, today I I would like to say,
Uh-huh.
how do you say loque?
What I would like to say
What?
what I think.
Yes. What I think about any situation.
Very
Yes,
good. That's
because
important.
I like to I like to help the people. The
Yeah,
people.
right. Yeah.
Yes, this is
But first you need to help yourself. Because if you're not helping yourself in situations, it's going to be difficult, right? Because
yes.
sometimes we want to help others, but sometimes we have to really care about ourselves first. Wonderful, Jessica. Very good. Okay, Jessica, excellent. Let me give you some feedback. Let's start with the structure of the presentation. So you decided that the first idea is that you worked in a lab. Number two, you had to check information. Number three, about your boss. And number four, the importance to do something. Perfect. Okay. When you started with the first idea, nice, because you mentioned keywords, adjectives, beautiful. So you incorporated information. Okay, when you talked about the second idea, pay attention to the transitioning, because then you were confused. Yeah. So for no, boss motivation. So you have to be careful. That's why something that I can do is I check. I mean, I have a paper
Yes.
and I check. Okay, Oscar, don't worry, you can do it. Oscar, the first idea, I worked in a laboratory and a sleeper in a pet care company, and you check. So you know you're talking about this. All right. Okay, the second idea. Let's talk about the second idea. I had to check. You check. Okay, because we can't forget, Jessica. It's a lot of information, and we can be like, okay. But it was nice. It's just a transitioning. Try to practice, because you know how to transition. Let's talk about the communication strategies. No problems. Let me ask a question that's retaking. Oh, okay, but let me continue. That's transitioning. Let me ask a question that's engaging. You want to motivate the audience. Let me think. That's a filler. And in a communication process, you have to do that. Sometimes, Jessica, we have the pressure. Sometimes we don't feel, sometimes we think life is weird because we think that, okay, I'm going to do this activity. I'm happy for this activity. But in a second, everything is different, right? And you have to focus on the activity because now I am angry or I am happy or I'm tired. So this is changing and it's a challenge. And for you, it was not a problem. Because I saw that you were in the presentation, like you said, I want to do this, and you did it. And for that, congratulations. Let's talk about the structure. Nice. You controlled all the ideas in the past, simple, past perfect, past progressive. Even you use structures that are like obligation in the past. I know we need to practice can, but we have not studied can yet, but we're going to study can in the future, maybe. Okay. And for pronunciation, good, no problems. I mean, those verbs worked, had, checked, no problem. Okay, Jessica? I'm going to stop it here.